Ooh.
I don't have an issue with traditional gender roles.
Gender roles was never our problem within our culture.
It really wasn't.
That was a white people thing.
Yeah.
So my take on gender roles, I don't believe in the equality that society has going.
Bada boom, bada bam, ba bam. Kristen said, I'm going to strike this one right out the park. Let's talk a little bit about this, right? Chris obviously talking about the fact that he doesn't believe necessarily in the equality of the roles, right? And let's be honest, most of you don't either. Okay, most of people subscribe to the inequalities of the role because they expect men to play a certain role and we expect women to play some type of role. Now, what we often say is we're looking for flexibility within the constructs of those roles, but most people do believe in the traditional Western world kind of definition of what those roles look like. The man be the provider, the woman be the nurturer, right? And then you kind of interchange that. Now, of course, this is also mixed in terms of economical status, because if you're broke, we both gonna be working, which means we're gonna have to adapt the roles in some shape or form because we're not at our best, not our optimum. But the optimum operandum that we're looking for is that the man works and the woman's able to rest in her femininity, rest in her, rest and just nurture. Whether it means run the books, where there's this, that, doesn't mean that she's not going to work at all. It just means that she's able to have the option of saying, I don't want to have to work. I don't have to have that strife on my neck. And so I do understand where he was going with it. The description of it, wild. And it was giving slightly, close to red pill kind of energy because of what he says later on. And we're going to discuss that as well as we go along. But do me a massive favor. Please like it, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We want to hear your thoughts as well. So leave a comment down below. But do me a massive favor again, once more. We want you guys to help us get to 100K subscribers by the end of the year. You guys are doing so well, and I appreciate you. We're really thriving and speeding along. And we'd love for you guys to help us some more. All right, keep on subscribing. Send this video to somebody who wants to watch it, who needs it. Let's get deep. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is. You got the minerals, baby. And stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. Okay, so going back to this conversation, are women too emotional to be in a leadership position? We're going to discuss that in a second or two as well, right? Because it gets a bit messy after this.
You might see a lot of men in positions of leadership because a woman is more emotional than a man.
Wait a minute. Hell no. Wait, let him finish. Men are emotional. None of that matters. Yeah.
Let's pause. I think we have to when we say men are more when we say about women being more emotional, I think we have to break down certain components, right? Men are very emotional. What we have to start talking about is the reactivity of that emotion and the ability to put the emotion aside. I'll be very frank with you. There are not many Kangs, okay? And there are not many leaders. There's always going to be a batch of men that are going to be leaders and a lot more men who are followers, right? The cream of the crop of those men oftentimes top the cream of the crop of those women. You know what I mean? And the only reason why is because those men are able to understand how to emotionally regulate themselves and understand how to use their intelligence and how to lead effectively a bunch of people, right? Or to lead in a particular way that maybe sets pace for others to follow in suit, right? The reality of the situation is that women are not less, and women are not more emotional. Men are just as emotional as women because you're emotional creatures. But how that emotion shows up and how much we are plagued by that emotion is something else, right? And I want to be very, very real, very, very honest, and don't shoot me. In fact, you can if you want, it's up to you, but I want you to pay attention. There's been several times I've had conversations with women say, when it gets to the time of the month, how they start feeling, their hormones are all changing, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, that tells me that there's a time in the month where you're going to struggle, or at least you're having a fight to maintain operatus operandum, where you're going to be maintain your optimum best. So ideally, a man is a better leader because he doesn't have that week or that 2 weeks. I hear some women saying about that week before the period comes, the stress that happens, the way their mind is thinking, they're this, that, and that men need to be understanding of women. Well, guess what? Then that would not make you the optimum leader. Doesn't mean you can't lead. I think we have to make it very clear. it does not mean that women cannot lead. Women can definitely lead, right? But are they the optimum leadership that you're looking for? More than likely not, because they're competing against other men, right? And there are certain disadvantages that come along with having the fact that you got a week or two where you might be hormones raging. Okay, now that doesn't mean that men are better leaders simply because of the logic, because we know that sometimes, not even sometimes, how many wars have been started, how many battles have been fought because of an emotional man? Too many. You know, how many people have been killed because a man decided that, you know what, I don't like your face, I don't like this, I don't like you stepped on my shoe, you did this, you that. So many. So it's not that women are more emotional as such. It is the fact that, one, the divine order that God has called it to be, that men should lead because they're meant to be protectors. But two, also because I hear women too say, when they're in that position of leadership all the time, having to make all the decisions, it's tiring. So ideally, the optimum leadership is, again, a man leading, a good man and a good leader who can take decisions and make them, right? So there's a big difference here. We are talking about men that have reached a pinnacle where they understand how to make decisions and make decisions based upon the benefit of all parties around them. A considerate, emotionally intelligent leader, they're the ones that are of benefit to the society. There are leaders in this life who have none of those things, qualities, and they actually cause destruction. And Bible talks about this, about a king, we're talking about a king that is wise, a king that thinks about his subjects, right? He brings prosperity to the land. But a king that is selfish and is self-conceited and only thinks about itself brings destruction to the rest of the land. So it's important that what kind of leadership are we talking about here? But I do understand where Chris was going with it. I think the word is a bit mad. Yeah.
That matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really subscribe to the whole masculine thing.
Jessica constantly want to argue. You can have your household how you want your household. I'm going to have my household how I want my household. And if Jessica doesn't change, she's going to be one of those 60-year-olds with cats all over the house. Just like.
Now, I didn't like that comment, right? I don't like it. I didn't like it, Chris. I don't like that. I don't think that's cute. Okay, we don't need to be saying those bars. Those are the red pill kind of bars, you know. She'll be 60 with cats in the house. That's not. We don't want to go about that. Now, is Jessica a little bit combative? She can be, because we've seen her, some of the behavior that she's exhibited earlier in the season, in the way she goes about certain things, where she talks, and we know that Chris has also stated that. I've already said that there's partly what Chris was saying I understand, but I also can see that you've got a traditional way of thinking about things, so you're going to see Jessica as an opposition, right? The reality of the situation is Jessica is a boss in her own right in the business world. I think we have to make that clear distinction between the business and the relationship. In the business world, Jessica is a boss. In the relationship, what we're asking for is to have that submissive energy and to have that person that's willing to follow. And of course, not follow blindly. It doesn't mean become a silent mule and just let everything happen and don't challenge anything. No. But what it does mean is that we understand that in a relationship, the man is supposed to lead. Again, quote unquote, we want good quality leaders, a man who thinks about his family and thinks about them before he takes decisions. With Jessica, there's going to be that kind of, I can see there's going to be a contention. That's why Chris and Jessica are never going to work, because as much as she was doing the sweet stuff in the very beginning, her real nature is that she's going to challenge you. And she's going to challenge you to a point where you may feel frustrated that the person's not necessarily trying to follow you, but they're trying to overtake you. Right? So that won't work for a lot of men, right? Because I'm now fighting you to try and have leadership and the reins on the leadership in the role of the relationship. I can't be the man I'm supposed to be because you're trying to be it. So I understand that perspective of that idea, right? Let's go.
Bills. I don't feel a woman should be paying bills. That's just my belief.
Now that part I will agree, but the wording was kind of crazy.
Let me just say this. As women, we have to understand who we are and why we are here. If God has sent me to be your helpmate, he's not going to send someone who can't carry the same weight that you can. We were.
I don't even know what that even means. I'm just like, carry the same weight that you can carry. I don't know what that means. Sending me a helpmate and they can't carry the weight I'm carrying. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that you're going to carry the same weight as me? You know, you lie. You can't carry the same weight as me. Even physiologically looking at me, you can't carry the same weight as me. You carry weight in a different way. right? You carry weight in a different way. You carry a different type of weight because, like I said, oftentimes, and again, and I'm not going to say that not on it. By the way, there are exceptions to the rule. There are women out there that are going to lead their relationships because that's just how it is. There are always anomalies, right? But ideally, when she said to carry the same weight, we're not supposed to carry the same weight. And again, the person that doesn't have the financial pool doesn't have that luxury. Like if you are a person that is an average citizen, you do not have the luxury of doing complete gender roles because you understand we both got to work, which means we both got to clean, which means we both have chores, which means we both got to do this. We don't have that luxury, right? And that's understandable, and we get that. But in carrying the same load, the helpmate was to actually help ease the load, right? The helpmate was supposed to see things that I couldn't see. I always describe the helpmate as being in a rally car. In a rally car, there are two people that are involved here, and both are important. Otherwise, this car will crash. The importance of a woman in a relationship cannot be downplayed. Never. Because in a rally car, the man that's driving, he's just focused on driving the car. But guess what? The woman is the one that's or should say the person in the passenger seat is the one giving instructions. Turn left 60, turn right 100. And without that person giving the instructions, the person driving the car is blinded. They're blinded. So it takes two to tango. I need you, you need me. You hold weight in a different way. The person holding the map, talking about turn left 120, is not holding the steering wheel, right? We hold weight in a different way. But maybe I misunderstood what Janelle was kind of saying, so I don't want to go hard on her or anything like that. I just was misunderstanding it. But this is an instant conversation, right?
We're here because they needed help.
I'm not carrying no weight on man.
I ain't carrying no weight.
Well, we know.
Oh, yo, with that one.
I don't know. For me, I prefer to be my feminine.
You're not. They said they're not. Okay, now the argument is about not carrying no weight in general. Look at his body language. Look at his body language. This is why I said that you're not telling the truth about how you feel about the situation. You need to be real about it and stop pretending, Quentin, that you don't feel some type of way. You being silent is being complicit to the actual situation. It's not going to change. But yeah, no. Going back to what we're saying, about carrying the weight. I think they would say, no, we're not going to carry. The ladies were like, no, we're not going to carry no weight. I think it depends on what kind of weight again we're talking about. We carry weight in a different way, but I don't know if they had an understanding of what carry a weight was, whether that was financial burdens or something like that. I'm not sure 100% what that meant. But like I said, I think we have to enjoy the uniqueness of a woman and a man. We have to enjoy the weakness. We have to enjoy the differences. And as a man, as a leader, we're supposed to lead as Christ was leading us, which means every decision I'm making has to be for the benefit of the body. Sometimes, yes, I'm going to say no, and it may not sound nice, but it's for the benefit of the body. It's for the benefit of the family, right? But I'm going to leave it there because I think there's a separate video we can do for the fight between Janelle and Kat. But would you carry the load? I don't even know what that even means. But do you agree? Are women too emotional for leadership? I think women do make great leaders. I'm not opposed to women leading. I think in the home, though, I think if women are really honest about it, they would want a man who can take the decisions on, who can direct them, who can lead them, who can love upon them, protect them, provide for them, be a priest over their home. And I do agree that a lot of men financially cannot make enough money to be able to do those things in its entirety. So there's going to be a lot more teamwork. And in that aspect, I still believe the man is a leader, right? But the dynamics are slightly different because in that aspect, you're having to share some of the load in a different way than other couples who maybe have a main provider being the man. It's a real situation. But let me know. Maybe you disagree. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe you see something differently. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Don't forget, we're trying to get to 100K subscribers. Please like, share, subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Much appreciation. See you soon.